So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hey, Lashy Kids and Driving Mutants, how are you today? Let me take this banner off here. Go back to the comments. Let me shout out, hey, Swoop Like Me. By the way, check out her channel. She has some really, really great live streams. If I recall correctly, sometimes you live stream it while you're riding in the truck, huh, Swoop? Let's see. Tony Man says, away we go. You have to read that like the Joker. I don't know how to read it like the Joker. When I think of the Joker's voice, I think of Mark Hamill, how Mark Hamill portrays the Joker in like the DC cartoon movies. Cute shirt and headband. Thank you. Let me get my stuff queued up so we can get into Stranger Things, episode 7. I want to do a recap and a slight review so that we're all caught up and ready for the next drop, which I think is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's this Friday is when the next. Yep. Swoop says, yes, I do. Okay, so I am remembering correctly. Again, check out her channel. She's got some great content. Let me get that queued up. I was rushing around so much to try to get ready for this cast. I broke a nail. I didn't even feel it when I broke my nail. So I'm going to have to file that down, and I'm going to have to file all my other nails down so that it matches, because I hate walking around with just one broken nail. It looks raggedy. Excuse me. Okay, let's stop this screen and share this next one, because I have some visuals this time, and I believe they're in order, hopefully. I mean, I number them in order, but who knows? Whenever I get ready to live stream, sometimes they don't pop up the way they're supposed to pop up. So let's do like this. And I really like this artwork for Stranger Things. But when we left off, excuse me, Steve was fighting off I kept calling them octobats, because that's what they look like if you cross a bat with an octopus. That's what he was fighting off. And right in time to his rescue, everybody else shows up, which is Nancy, Robin, and Eddie. And they all fight the octobats off of him. And they decide to run into the forest because I figure, it'll be easier to keep away from the bat creature things. Oh, if you're wondering what I'm drinking, it is a Mean Bean Java Monster Coffee Plus Energy, because I need that today. back in Hawkins, I don't know if he's still in Hawkins. The colonel guy that captured the agent guy, he's still torturing him, and the agent guy finally breaks down and tells the colonel guy where 11 is, but he just says, please don't kill her. But I'm not sure where they're supposed to be and what facility they're supposed to be. 11 is still feeling some type of way about her powers and calling herself a monster and all that. And the dude that she calls Papa, I never remember his name. It's Martin something. I only remember his first name. But he tries to encourage her and tells her that, it's kind of like I started to say you're our only hope, and it made me think of Star Wars. But he basically tells her that she's their only hope in defeating Vecna. Meanwhile, back in Hawkins, as you can see, sitting on the couch is Lucas, Dustin, and Max, and their parents, except for Max's parents. Her mama is always MIA. Like, I think we saw her one time sleep on the couch with a bunch of beers around her. Oh, let me pause. Bob says those things are from Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, I didn't know that because I'm not too familiar with Dungeons and Dragons. And he also says they are Sturges, I believe. Thank you. Tony Man said, what happened to the decaf? I fell off the wagon. I was drinking nothing but decaf for at least 2 months. And then today I just needed caffeine. I'm sorry, I just needed it. But as you can see, the police are questioning them, and they decide that they're going to question them one by one, hoping that they probably won't get their story straight. I love how this scene looks. And you know what's the most accurate? Every time I see Erica's clothes, you see Erica right there? That's literally, this is literally how we dress. This is like to a T. Even, and I mentioned it before about the sponge roller bangs, because you only get those bangs from rolling your hair with sponge rollers back in the day. And that's, if you were a little black girl in America, 9 times out of 10, you had at one point in your life some sponge roller bangs. Somebody says, I hated that cop with the glasses. He was irritating. Yeah, I didn't like when he was talking about little piggy, little piggy. Yeah, yeah, something always right with him. Okay, where did I leave off? I meant to mention that when the older teens, I'm going to do these 2 different groups. It's going to be the Hawkins teens and they're both Hawkins teens. The seniors and the freshmen. The freshmen, they're getting, questioned by the police. The seniors are still in Vecna's upside down world. And Robin mentions, maybe since everything here is a mirror of what everything is in Hawkins, let's go to the police station, get some guns. Maybe we can fight with some guns. Swoop Like Me says exactly about the sponge rollers. But Nancy says, you don't have to go to the police station. I have some guns in my room, which surprised the hell out of me because I didn't know Nancy was rolling like that. Nobody did. Everybody was like, Nancy Wheeler has guns. And she was like, yeah, I got guns in my room. So while the freshmen are being questioned, the seniors are trekking through the woods trying to get back to Nancy's house to get her guns. And that's the 3 of them looking nervous. So they are adorable. All these kids, the casting director put their foot in this. Meanwhile, back in, are we supposed to be in Alaska or Russia? Because I'm so confused about that. But Hopper is filling the Russian dude in on what a Demogorgon is and how difficult it is to defeat them or to get away from them or to survive them, basically. So he's telling him about that and they're trying to get their game plan together for how they're going to fight the Demogorgon. Back in Hawkins, Erica pretty much threatens to tell Dustin what's underneath Lucas's bed if they don't fill her in on what is going on, because this whole time they haven't told her what's going on at all. Bob says, you think the lab would have told the cops something? Mm-hmm. Those seniors look like they're on the 6-year plan, meaning they're some old looking seniors. Yeah, I heard one of them, I think it's the actor that plays Steve. I think he's 30 years old in real life. Yeah, that's what I believe I read somewhere. And then also, one of them is presented that way because Eddie's character, when you first get introduced to him in the cafeteria, and he's talking about how this is going to be the year he graduates, and the other kids are like, "You said that last year and the year before last." So Eddie's supposed to look like someone who's a super duper senior. Bob says they are more useless than the last house on the left cops. Well, here's the thing: cops in horror movies, period. If you're a cop in a horror movie, like nothing good is going to come to you. I'm afraid. But after Erica threatens to tell whatever Lucas had underneath his bed, uh, they fill her in on everything that's going on and talk about the gates. And she asks a question that makes them ponder the what, where, and how these gates are opening. And they determine that the gates seem to open wherever someone was murdered. So they are able to figure that out. Back in, I guess, the underground Vecna world thing, they get to Nancy's house, but they don't find her guns because unfortunately her house or that whole area is not in the present day of 1986 where they are, but stuck in 1983. So she hadn't purchased her guns yet, so they're not there yet. So they're kind of stuck. And then they end up walking around, and they think about it, and they're like, wait a minute, Will was able to communicate using light, so we got to find some way to communicate. And luckily Steve was hearing Dustin talking, so they somehow were able to well, no, I think it's because they're both at Nancy's house. Yeah, they could hear Dustin in the present day Nancy's house while they're in the 1983 Nancy's house. And so Dustin and Erica and Lucas go and grab Nancy's little sister's Light Bright, which that was one of my favorite toys when I was a kid. I had a Light Bright, but I think I was too young for it because I kept losing the pieces. And it really sucks when you lose the pieces and you don't have enough pieces to draw what you want to draw. Anyways, they are able to communicate through the Light Bright. And they tell them to go to back to the trailer park where Chrissy was killed, and that there's a gate there, and they'll meet them there. So that was a kind of cool scene. I like that. I also, let me take time to say, well, hold on, let me read this comment. Bob says, what I think is neat about it being frozen is it's not frozen when the lab slaughter happened, but when Will was taken. Yes, that is true. The date that it's frozen in is the same date that Will was taken, which we'll circle back around to that because that's a big thing that happens in the climax of this episode. One of the asides that I wanted to say that I really like about Stranger Things, specifically the characters of Lucas and Erica, it's very rare that we get to see Black children and teenagers just getting to be teenagers. I think it's because of the time period that I came through. The time period I came through, I was in high school in the 90s. And a lot of the movies that we had in the 90s, like when we entered the 90s, it was cool. Like I think in 89 or 90, the House Party came out, and we started out cool. We was having a good time watching House Party. That's a lot of fun. Then all of a sudden it was just like Black trauma over and over again. Like during the time period I was in high school and when I started college, we had Boys in the Hood, Juice, Menace to Society. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but like over and over again, it was just all these Black teen dramas where you're just waiting for tragedy to happen. And this felt good just to see these two actors just doing like regular kids stuff, talking like kids do, even though they are technically still in danger because Vecna could get them, but at least they have some time to do some fun things. That felt good to see, at least in my opinion. Okay. We are still getting flashbacks because 11 is in her sensory deprivation tank trying to get her memories back. And in this particular memory, she's talking to, I keep calling him Weird Orderly Guy because that's what he is to me. He's weird, or he was a weird orderly guy. And he is telling her about how she's in danger, which as she's looking around, she sees the other bullies in the facility eyeing her. And he's like, they're planning to kill you and Papa's not going to stop them. So what I can do is help you get out of here. I know how to escape. So she ends up listening to him. And mind you, I think I mentioned in last week's episode about how he taught her how to better use her powers, which was a cool scene. her drawing from her pain in order to strengthen her powers. Also, kind of like the juxtaposition of this. The facility is so like all white and sterile, but then at the same time they have these rainbows going around the room to try to make it cheerful, but it doesn't work. It doesn't make it cheerful. Oh, one thing I want to say about the police when they were, and this also relates to the guy with the glasses. I know one of you said you didn't like the police officer with the glasses. When he said about Max, shouldn't have gone with her first. She's kind of mean. I like that. That was kind of funny. So they end up escaping and running to, well, not running. They actually take their bikes. Both groups of teens. The seniors take the bikes from Nancy's house to Eddie's uncle's trailer, and the freshmen also take bikes and go from Nancy's house to Eddie's uncle's trailer. But it was so funny because little Erica slashed her tires. The little girl is so funny. Just the imagery of this little girl. She said it's only a misdemeanor and slashed the tires. It was so adorable. Oh, I got 3 comments here. Trash Pitcher says, yo, Lady Shasha. Yo, what's up, Trash Pitcher Show? I tried to do this earlier, especially for you guys in the UK, because I know you guys stay up really, really late to watch live streams. Bob says, the live show I went to was a lot of fun. They told 3 stories, one about Skunk 8, one about UFOs, and the last was about the death of Bret the Hitman Hart. Oh, Bob, you know what? You need to talk to Tony Mann about that. Tony Mann is not only a wrestling aficionado, he also used to work for WWE. So he would probably love to talk to you about that. I still remember that Bret the Hitman Hart stuff when he fell from the wires. For those that are watching that don't know, Bret the Hitman Hart was, if I remember correctly, am I confusing him with somebody else? I might be. You know what? I'm not even going to do it because I might confuse him for somebody else. I'll let Tony Mann talk about Bret the Hitman Hart. But oh, I forgot about that. I forgot to share this on Twitter, I think. So thank you for that, Trash Picture Show. Yeah, I thought I was getting them mixed up. Thank you, Tony Man. See, as soon as I started talking, I said to myself, I think I'm mixing 2 people up. Because I did that before. I did that with Macho Man Randy Savage, and there's somebody else that I used to always it's Macho Man Randy Savage, and there's another wrestler I used to always confuse him for, and I don't know why. Yeah, he's the one that fell from the rafters. Yeah, I didn't want to make the mistake and name somebody else that passed away. Yeah, so I did remember correctly, but I was saying the wrong name. Okay, where was I? I think I left off with everybody trying to get to the other gate. Meanwhile, back in Russia, Alaska, still don't know. Because I don't know how it's presented as though Hopper is in a gulag in Russia. However, Joyce and Murray said they were flying to Alaska. And I'm just like, and they didn't show them. Well, maybe that was the plane crash. Maybe that little plane crash. Yeah, I think that's the part that I'm missing. I think when they went with Yuri flew them from Alaska into Russia. That's what I'm thinking is the missing piece that I didn't remember. But anyways, he's preparing to fight the Demigorgon. And the one thing he knows about the Demigorgon is that its weakness is fire. So he has a torch, and unfortunately the lighter is not lighting fast enough. So the Demigorgon takes out a bunch of people before he can get the torch lit. Torment says, yeah, Bob, that was Owen. I thought Bret Hart was still alive. Are they brothers? I know that's just an aside, but so they end up fighting the Demigorgon. Most of the dudes die except for Hopper and the Russian dude. And obviously Joyce and Murray are able to open the doors like right at the last minute to let them escape. So they're all reunited and cool, and that's that. Bob Gunter says, oh, Tony Man, I could have them mixed up. It was the Rafters guy. Ben told the story of Vince McMahon should be in jail. Oh, yeah. Which, you know what, Tony Man, that's the stream that you need to do. You need to do the WWE stream talking about all the messed up things that Vince McMahon has done over the years. Okay, so back in 11's flashback, she's in this room because weird orderly guy told her to wait there. Oh, I'm skipping a whole part. He took her down to the boiler room, which shout out to Nightmare on Elm Street because I'm pretty sure that's what that was. So he took her down to the boiler room and shows her like this escape hatch thing where she can get out. And she's like, "You're too big to fit through there." And he's like, "I'm not going with you because I can't. We're all prisoners here." And he shows her the little chip in his neck, which is like a tracker, but it's also like a governor. You know how you some engines have a governor on them to keep them from going over a certain speed. Like usually when you go-kart riding, they might have a governor on there so that the go-karts only go a certain speed. That's how I describe this device that's in his neck. It's like a governor for his powers. And so 11 is like, well, let me help you out with that. And she uses her powers to pull the governor out his neck. Now this dude is supercharged. He got all his stuff back. And he's like, go wait in this room. I'll come back and get you. But she hears a whole bunch of screaming. So this is her coming out of the room to see what's going on. And dude is just massacring everybody. You see the children. He mind you, because it's a flashback, they're showing how physically young 11 was when this happened. But he just, everybody. He took out everybody. Tommy says, I don't remember the Demogorgon being so violent. Co-worker Will. What was he watching? Demogorgon's always been that way. And Bob says, tracker and power damper. Yes. But now he's all powered up. And 11 basically has to face this dude like this because she's not with, like, she didn't like her bullies, but she didn't want them to be dead. Back in Hawkins in the trailer, which is Eddie's uncle's trailer, they, threw a towel through the gate. And didn't this scene remind you of Poltergeist when they threw the rope through the thing? And they tested the tennis ball first, and they threw a rope through the thing to bring back Carol Ann. It kind of gave me that, especially the way when they were climbing through. I think the first person that climbed through was Robin, and the way she climbed up the rope from Vecna's world and then fell down the rope and back into Hawkins. It reminded me so much of Poltergeist. I really like this sequence. And also the mattress they put there, and Eddie's like, those stains are, I don't know what those stains are, but I'm wondering if that was meant to symbolize that as old as Eddie is supposed to be as a super duper senior, that he still wets the bed. Like, I'm wondering, is that what that was supposed to be, that he still wets the bed? Tony says, I had to remind him of the mall scene. Yes. Yeah. And also the Demogorgon took out homeboy, what's his name, from Goonies. I call him, it's our time down here. I don't know his name. I mean, I can't remember his name. I would have known it in middle school because he was one of those Tiger Beat guys, which is funny. I was talking to somebody the other day about how I don't think middle school kids have that type of thing anymore, like Tiger Beat or J14. Like when we had Tiger Beat, it was usually, I was complaining about this. They were always trying to shove Kirk Cameron down our throats. And I'm like, he's okay, but like, we don't like him like that. And they used to put the Coreys on there. Who else they used to put on Tiger Beat a lot? Ralph Macchio was on there. Rob Lowe. And then we had the black version that was J14. And that usually had like New Edition. LL Cool J was in it. Who else was in J14 magazine? Kid and Play might have been in it. But my point is, like, for middle schoolers now, I guess TikTok would be their new J14 or Tiger Beat magazine. But how did I even get onto this topic? Oh, yeah, because I was talking about Sean Astin. That's his name. I was calling him, it's our time. No, but Sean Astin, he was one of the Tiger Beat boys in those little teen magazines. There it is, Sean Astin. Thank you. And Josh Brolin, too. Josh Brolin from Goonies on the bicycle. He will always be Goonies on the bicycle, but if you would have went back in time and told us in the 80s, hey, you see that kid on the bicycle? When he grows up, he's going to be Thanos. we would be like, you're smoking crack. None of us would believe it. None of us. Saving Christmas is my jam. A pro-buy stuff movie disguised as Christian propaganda. Oh, I haven't seen that one, but I think you're talking about Kirk Cameron's movies, huh? Because I know he's like a super duper Christian. So back to what I was saying here. Robin has gone through and she landed on the mattress. She said it was fun. Eddie was the next to go through. He landed on a mattress and he was like, yeah, that is fun. So then next up, Nancy is supposed to climb through there. But just as she's climbing through, or in her mind, she thinks she's climbing through, but Vecna already, he snatched her up like this and she's in a trance and Steve's trying to wake her up. And in the trance, she is in the pool. I didn't get an image of it because I didn't see it on Google, but she's in the pool and you could see Barb in the corner of the pool. I know that. And then Vecna's all in her head talking about, remember what you did to Barb? Remember that what you did? Left Barb at the pool while you was getting some. Vecna is he's a messy bitch that lives for drama. But anyways, for some reason, he starts sharing his memories with her. And I love the way this scene cuts back and forth between him showing his memories to her and at the same time, Weird Orderly Guy telling his backstory to 11. And it's really cool because as we find out, they're one and the same person. So Nancy is walking through his old home and looking at him as he was as a little boy. And we get a replay of all the things that we thought were happening to the family. But now, as they're replaying the scenes, it wasn't happening to the family. It was the little boy doing this to his family. Bob says, yes, his movie is nuts. Tony Man says, off topic, yes or no, did you hear Gasoline yet? Okay, back to asking Stranger Things presents. No, I have not heard Gasoline, but I'm planning on listening to it today. Also, when I get off this stream, I'm watching the full verses of, I don't know who the official verses was with. It was Omarion and a bunch of other people, but I don't know who he was supposed to be versus because it looked like, from what I saw on social media, I've seen all these crazy clips. I saw Sammy was there. I saw the Ray J clip with him holding his baby, singing One Wish. Who else was there? I can't remember, but there was like a bunch of 2000s-ish R&B guys singing and having all kind of animosity towards each other. So, and I also heard that there was some, this is going to sound weird, watermelon eating. I don't know what's happening with that, but when I get off this stream, I'm going to go watch that verses, and then I'll probably listen to the Weeknd's new album. By the way, shout out to BTS because J-Hope is dropping on Friday. His next, I don't know if it's just a single or it's his new album, but I know the single is coming out on Friday. Shout out to J-Hope. Swoop like me says, woo, 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 woo. No, he didn't. Oh, it was supposed to be Omarion. Thank you, Fominky Latte. It's supposed to be Omarion versus Mario. All the clips are like, not all the clips, but there's more clips of Ray J than there are of Mario. That's why I thought it was like, I couldn't figure out who Omarion was supposed to be versus because all these clips of Ray J. And then the clip of Sammy, I think it was a clip of Sammy singing Ray J's One Wish better than Ray J. I don't know what was going on. It was a mess, but I'm going to watch the whole thing today. Okay, what was I saying about this? Yeah, they were playing it back, and we find out that the things that were happening to the family was actually this little boy doing everything to the family. Tony Man said, Hobie, I'm swooning right now. Oh, look at that. You know his nickname. Hey, he makes some great music. What's funny is that people are, this is my last time going off track, but hopefully people are all talking about how Drake's latest album is like house music inspired, and then Beyonce dropped her song, which is popping. I listen to that every day, and I'm like, J-Hope dropped Hope World like a couple of years ago, and it was a house mixtape, and it's fire. If you haven't listened to Hope World, go listen to Hope World. If you like the Beyonce song, go listen to Hope World. I listen to that one all the time too. That's a great mixtape that is very much house music. Love it. Okay, so after everything happened in the house, and unfortunately his father thought that he died because he went into a coma and the hospital told his father that he died, but really that's supposed to be the younger version of Papa. Took him from the hospital from when he was in a coma and is tattooing the number 1 on this child's arm. Trash Show says, "Hey, when are you hoping to discuss episode 6 of The Boys? Because Christ, there's a lot to unpack with the Hero Gasm episode." I actually discussed Hero Gasm on Hood Podcast, so you got to go to that channel, Hood Podcast. We talked about The Boys for almost that episode alone for almost an hour. So check that out. It's on, and if you can't find it, look on my community tab. If you go to my channel, click on community tab, you'll see Hood Podcast. I come on probably like 3 or 4 minutes into the episode. So if you don't see me when you right click, when you immediately click on, I am coming on the episode. I was just like 3 or 4 minutes late because I was rushing home. But yeah, we talked about Hero Gasm in depth, so in depth that I think our episode might be age restricted. I think we ended up putting it as an age restricted episode because of obviously the content of Hero Gasm. Bob says, I watched Habit on Joe Bob. That was a great movie. Good double feature with Vampire's Kiss. When was that? When was that? Because I didn't know that he played Vampire's Kiss. And Trash Pisher says, will do. So we get the reveal, of course, that Weird Orderly Guy is also the son of Victor Creel and also number 1. And so now it turns into like this battle between him and 11. And what's cool about it is it kind of reminded me, do you remember Scanners and Scanners 2? That's what it reminded me of, Scanners. It was last Friday. Oh, okay. What was I doing last Friday? Because I started watching Joe Bob, and then what did we end up doing that I didn't see Joe Bob last Friday? That's right. We found out that Hatchet was on Tubi. By the way, all 4 Hatchet movies are on Tubi. And so that's what we watched. We watched Hatchet, Hatchet 2, and Hatchet 3. And then we didn't get to Victor Crowley yet. But all 4 Hatchet movies are on Tubi for free to watch. He did not play Vampire's Kiss. I'm just saying it works well with Habit. Oh, okay. That's what. Last week was Head of the Family and Habit. Okay, I did watch the beginning of Head of the Family, and then I turned it off because I've seen Head of the Family before. It's not my favorite full moon movie. I was very disappointed it didn't play Puppet Master. I was like, play Puppet Master, or even, I know this is a wild card, but Killjoy. I like that one too from Full Moon. But Head of the Family is not one of my favorite full moon video movies. I don't know why he played that one. So number 1 is facing off against 11. And of course, he's no match for her. But her being a little kid, she doesn't know the strength of her powers. So she pretty much hits this dude so hard that she opens up a tear in space and time and pushes this dude through it. And this is where he's starting to turn into Vecna. I didn't think the graphics in this was super great, but I mean, it got the point across. And we end up seeing him as in his form as Vecna, and in the final reveal of that tattoo on his arm. I thought that was pretty cool. Although the sequence when he's telling the backstory did go on a little bit longer than it should have. Like, as he's telling the backstory. Well, the thing is, even previous episode, you could probably guess the twist that the orderly is number 1, but you don't necessarily guess the twist that the orderly is Vecna or becomes Vecna. But I thought that was all in all a pretty good episode. It makes me look forward to what they're going to do next. What did y'all think of episode 7 before I go into Chucky? While y'all are doing that, I'm going to stop screen and get myself set up for Chucky. Oh, there is one other note. I'm glad I wrote that down because I totally forgot to say it. One of the things that was interesting about his character, number one's character, is his reasoning for why he wanted to do what he did. I wrote down that he hates conformity, normalcy, and the status quo. He really just kind of wanted to watch the world burn. And it's kind of deep because when you look at his family, on the outside, they represent this 50s cookie cutter image. But then what was upsetting to him as a child is seeing his parents put forth this image of, the pearl wearing, creased pants, perfect 1950s family, knowing that his father was killing babies during war. Not that his father did it on purpose, but still, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic, and it's something I think that existed in the U.S. in the 50s, where people tried to put on this air of this 50s nuclear family, but behind closed doors, there's alcoholism and abuse and all this other kind of crazy stuff happening. Bob says, prediction, Eddie is a goner. Oh, I hope not. I really like Eddie. They may kill Steve, but I hope not. I only hope that they get Steve only because he's 30 years old, still playing a teenager. And it's like he let that actor, I'm sure he wants to do other things. Tony Man says, I was actually yelling swerve every time I saw the toe-headed dude. Mm-hmm. So it says, I'm new to all this, but I love how you recap. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Bob says, that has kind of been the theme this season, conforming. Yes. Okay, let me see where I put that folder. There we go. Now that I said that, I can't get Ray J One Wish out of my head, but not even the way the song originally sounds, but the way, the messed up way he was singing it. I should have never brought that up. Hey, Demon Kennedy, welcome to the stream. Demon says, I effed with Chucky until they pulled too much of that gay and killed the show for me. Oh man, I'm disappointed that you said that, because the creator of Chucky, Don Mancini, is a gay man, and I think that's probably why the little doll wears a rainbow sweater. I disagree with that. It's, it doesn't bother me at all, because gay people exist just as black people exist. And once upon a time, people were saying, oh, there's too many you're shoving black people down our throats on TV back in the 60s and 70s. That's what people were saying. So I don't like to see that being said about gay people. And I like that gay teens have an outlet to see their stories being told. I think that's important. Bob says, the guy who played Steve was great in Spree. Yes, he was. I reviewed Spree, and I was really surprised how good that movie was, especially being a very low budget found footage movie. I believe it was produced by, oh God, what's his name? Somebody tell me in the comments the actor's name that played Dewey in Scream. He was the producer for Spree. Tony Man says, was Towhead offensive? Wasn't offensive to me. I thought that actor's great. Oh, I actually had written down that the actor that plays number one, he should get nominated, because I thought his performance was very well done, understated. I mean, very, very well done. But the other person that really needs to be nominated is the guy that's playing Homelander. Those two actors, like, you did villains really, really well. I love it. And both Bob and all three, you got it. Bob Gunter, Tony Mann, and Trash Picture Show, David Arquette. I could not remember his name. I don't know. I don't know why. I could see his face, but not remember his name. Whole acting family, because Rosanna Arquette was an actress, and then Patricia Arquette was in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and then his other sister. Oh, I can't remember her name. But when she was still male presenting, she was in Bride of Chucky. Yes. Okay, so let's get into Chucky episode 7. I just noticed it said classic coming of age story. That's a good tagline. So it starts off at the funeral, which at first you would think that it's the funeral for Devin's mother, but that hasn't come to pass yet. It's actually the funeral for Junior's mother. And this show, when you think about it, it goes pretty hard when you consider the kills on this. Because Chucky is pretty much just taking out their parents. Because he first took out Jake's dad, then he took out Junior's mother, and then just at the end of the last episode, he took out Devin's mother, and that's what the teens are discussing right now. They're trying to figure out, why is Chucky killing our parents? And of course, Lexi is, trying to figure out how to protect her family because she's thinking her parents are going to be next. And just when they're comforting each other and trying to get themselves, ready. Let me see here. Okay, we have 2 more comments. Marty says, did you see they're bring Glenn Glinda for season 2? Yes, I did, and I'm so happy. By the way, this is why I'm wearing this. This is a tribute to Chucky, my striped shirt, but like Florida style, because it's like 90 something degrees. But yes, I'm excited for that. I actually thought that the science teacher would end up being Glenn Glinda. I'm kind of not sure because I'm not a fan of Seed, but I'm okay with the idea of a trans puppet. That was the fun part. Yes. And that puppet, I swear that puppet is made to look like David Bowie. Like when he was in his Ziggy Stardust phase. Bob says, if DC has adult movies made of, if we need a boys audit film, adult film. They're going as far as they can with the boys as far as adult. But like I said, check out our discussion on Hood Podcast, because we talk about all of the details, including urethras, anuses, and taints. Like we literally talked in detail about the boys' Hero-gasm episode. So when these 3 are comforting each other, trying to figure out what they're going to do next, Junior pulls up and this dude is like, it's all your fault, Jake. And he straight punches Jake in the face. And you imagine that, mind you, they're cousins. Although, I mean, I'm trying to think, have I ever fought with a cousin like that? I fought with my sister like that, but I've never fought where I punched a cousin like that. Nah. But he punched his cousin dead in the face. And his father stops them. And it's so funny because Junior turns around and tells the 3 of them, all of you go to hell, and then walks away. And I'm like, this is so, because this kid has the cutest face, and he tries to look so angry. He'll be like this, but his face is so adorable, you can't take it seriously. I know that must suck. Like in real life, if he really gets vexed at people and he can't make his face not look adorable, it probably makes him even angrier. Bob says the termite has a whole shrinking fetish on lockdown. Bob says, I'm sure there's a soup that can switch bodies too. Yeah. They actually had to tone that episode because almost went too far. And Alexis Arquette was the other Arquette sibling you're talking about. Thank you. I could not remember her name. I was picturing her face, but I could not remember her name, which, is a running theme for me. Apparently, names are my weakness, that I just don't remember them. Okay, so then Tiffany pulls up and she whispers in the daddy's ear, I'm so sorry for your loss, and then kisses him on the mouth, and he's just like so stunned. He just stands there still, like he can't even move. And shout out to Jennifer Tilly. By the way, since Marty mentioned that they're bringing in Glenn Glinda, they're also, I've saw in the I don't know whether it was IGN or I forget which website it was, But Meg Tilly has been added to the cast, and Meg Tilly is an all-star for me because of the Psycho sequels. But I'm sure she was in other things, but it'd be great to see Meg and Jennifer together, which Meg Tilly obviously is Jennifer Tilly's sister. Let's see here. It would be interesting to see a live action DC's Black Label with Azarilio's Joker being a pimp, and the Batman is Jonathan, who guns down people, and Martha is the Joker because Bruce died. I'm not familiar with that one, but that does sound interesting. We get a flashback to Chicago 1988 because at some point Chucky and Tiffany have driven from I want to say did he meet her in New York? I feel like he met her in New York, but it could have been New Jersey. But anyways, they're in Chicago now, and I just love everything about this outfit. It's very 80s. Oh, I just noticed that they're in room 237. I did not notice that when I was watching the episode, which of course room 237 is from The Shining. I love all the little Easter eggs. Meanwhile, Andy and Kyle are still trying to travel to get to New Jersey, and Andy takes the opportunity to lock Kyle out of the car and drive off without her. He leaves her at the gas station while she's, getting her cigarettes. And I guess he was trying to protect her, but I think he needs Kyle's help. I don't know why. I know why he did it. He's trying to protect Kyle, but I still think he would have been better off with Kyle going with him because I think they work better together. Also, it's a funny scene with Lexi's mother giving a speech. And at the end of the speech, little Caroline is standing there. And one of the news reporters asked little Caroline, well, do you want to be a mayor like your mother? And just out of nowhere, Caroline's like, Chucky said to kill her. And of course, Lexi tries to quiet the whole situation, but then she later asks her, what else did Chucky say to you? And Caroline's like, Chucky said, kill them all. And it's just funny coming out of her with a little voice. It's just stuff like it's adorable. Says, I was thinking of how more interesting it would be than the 2-hour Justice League adult movie. Okay, I don't know anything about these DC adult movies. I watched Cinema Snob talk about it on Hub channel he has. Where was I talked about them going to Chicago. Oh, Jake. No, I shouldn't talk about Jake yet because obviously Junior is being not consoled. What's the right word? He's receiving emotional support from Chucky, which is not the best thing to do. But in Junior's defense, I don't think he feels like he has anyone else because he feels abandoned by Lexi. He feels, he's never been close to Jake. There's always been animosity. And now after seeing Tiffany kiss his dad, he feels like his dad was cheating on his mother. So he feels so alone that Chucky is his only sense of comfort. And Chucky's telling him, that's why some people got to die. Or actually, as Chucky put it, some people deserve to die. And so he's counseling Jake on killing people, and Junior. And Junior is taking it all in. Junior is actually finally giving Chucky what he wants, and an accomplice or a protege. Also, I like how the animatronics look in this, especially all the facial gestures. If you compare this to the 1980s Chucky, you could see how much animatronics have progressed. Tony Man says, my favorite meme I use is a pic of Glenn Glinda, and it says, you look tired. Picture Glenn Glinda with the caption saying me, I'm as fresh as a daisy. I've seen that GIF before. Marty says, DC Black. Oh, let me put that up on the screen. DC Black Label's 18 plus imprint after they cancel the DC Vertigo line. A lot more adult content recommendations are Harleen and the comic with Bruce's folks banging on the very spot where he died. Yeah, I don't think that one's for me, but y'all enjoy. Okay, so what else happened? Devin, who is now staying with his auntie, well, only temporarily because he says that he thinks he's eventually going to get put in foster care. He decides to go check out that house that he had looked up online that used to be Charles Lee Ray's house that Tiffany purchased in the last episode. So this is him making sure his taser still works as he goes to go check out that house. However, on the other side of town, Jake has decided he's going to run away, but he did steal like a grip of money from his uncle before he snuck out the door. And Junior saw him steal that money and leave. So that's just another thing to make Junior even angrier than he already was. And so as Jake is about to leave, it looks like he's in a bus station because the way the seats were. He saw this guy walking with a good guy's doll. So he stops him and asks him, who are you delivering that doll to? And the guy's like, I'm not about to tell you that because that's confidential information. He's like, I'll buy the doll off you. How much you want for it? And the guy said $350. So Jake gives him the money that he stole from his uncle. And he says, what's the address you were delivering this to? And it just turns out that it's the address that, well, he doesn't know this yet. He'll find out in a minute, but it does turn out to be the address that was Charles Lee Ray's house that Tiffany just bought. So he bought the doll. He's trying to get her to talk or whatever. It just acts like a regular good guy's doll. So he takes it with him back to Lexi's house and tells her, where this doll was headed to. And Lexi confirms on her cell phone. She Googles the address, like, this is Charles Lee Ray's house. So they decide, well, we need to go there, but we got to get Devin first. And Jake's like, Devin's not talking to me right now. So, and I like the inclusion of this. Lexi's like, well, let's check his Snapchat. At this point, I don't think kids are still on Snapchat like that. Like, I think they're more on TikTok than even Snapchat. I think maybe millennials are still on Snapchat, but I don't think Gen Z is on Snapchat. But I could be mistaken. So they check Devin's Snapchat and see that he is at, or he's heading to Charles Lee Ray's old house. So that's where they're going to head out to go and try to find him. Unfortunately, because Devin got there ahead of them, he finds, if I can get that, go forward. He finds Nika / Charles. And Charles pretends to be Nika because they're tied up. Tiffany has him tied up. And right when Devin unties Nika, obviously you see he turns into Charles. And, unfortunately for Devin, which is interesting that he didn't immediately kill Devin. He actually just tased him. Okay, I think we're about to get to my favorite scene in this particular episode, and it's involving Junior and his dad. Junior's dad tries to talk to him, and obviously he's not trying to hear that. And Chucky is using his good guy's voice, and he does his whole "I'm Chucky, I'll be your friend to the end" type of thing. But then as the dad is talking, why does Doll said, you drink too much, just like your twin brother. I was dying. This dog was talking so much crap to this man. and so his father's like, how are you doing that, Junior? And when he went to grab Chucky, and Chucky's voice changed from the good guy to the Charles Lee Ray, and he was like, get your fucking hands off me. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but I get a kick out of dolls that are evil. Well, clearly, I get a kick out of dolls that are evil. But that scene, then in the hallway, this is when he was yelling. He was telling me how he's just like his brother, and he called them the loser twins. He said, "You and your brother, the loser twins." And so after this, Junior actually uses Chucky as a weapon to beat the hell out of his father. I don't know whether he beat him to death or not. I mean, he's like, this is what it looked like when he was throwing the doll. Let me make it larger. I thought that was a cool effect. They probably put like attached the doll to the camera, but when he was bashing his father's head in with the doll, look at the face. That's pretty good articulation for animatronic. Look at that. Tonyman says, for your information, I think I told you that your Chucky has a secret switch that goes from good guy to Chucky. You have to Google it. Oh yeah, I will look at it. I will look that up. That's a great POV shot. Yes, it is. That's what I'm glad somebody made a GIF of it. So then the aftermath of this is that. So I guess we're to assume, yeah, that's a lot of blood. I don't think he's surviving that. But yeah, finally Chucky has his protege and he's happy because, Junior did the one thing he couldn't get anyone else to do. Because if you recall, Chucky tried to get Jake to kill first, then he tried to get Lexi to kill, and then he tried to get Caroline to kill, and he couldn't get any of them to kill, but he was able to get Junior to do it. Tony Man says, and I would have cracked up with that scene as well. You didn't see it, Tony Man? You haven't seen the Chucky series? Chucky horror game like Friday the 13th or a game like that with the Thing? Are you saying that those exist, or are you asking which would people enjoy more? I think there's some words missing. I'm not understanding the context. The actor will be back as himself. Okay, so he will survive this. That's a lot of blood, though. I love the scene. Not sure if this episode, but where the Chuckies are discussing who they can and can't kill. We don't kill babies. We're not monsters. I think that's episode 8. I'm gonna get into that next week. The episode ends with Andy outside of Junior's house about to ring the bell, and Junior and Chucky are upstairs. Oh, I forgot to talk about this before I get to that. Backtrack. Devin wakes up and he's tied up in the house that Tiffany bought, and as he wakes up and he looks over, that's when we first see all the army of Chuckies. And that's why that other doll was being delivered to this address, because apparently Tiffany was buying up all these Chuckies. Because as we learned in Cult of Chucky, he can fracture his consciousness into many dolls at the same time. Keep going for as long as you can. I've got 5G, and nope, I stopped watching after they bought the house. Oh, well, there was only 2 more episodes after that. There's only 8 episodes of the series. That should be a thing, I'm saying. Okay, yeah. The dad's dead, but Devin Siwa is back again, and I'm assuming playing himself. Okay, that would be interesting. They're doing a Hatchet thing, because if you remember, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was in all 3 Hatchet movies playing different characters. No, 4. He was also in Victor Crowley as another character. So this is the part I was talking about, that where we ended off at, with Junior and Chucky staring out the window. That Andy is ring. I think it's Andy that's ringing the doorbell. Tommy says, I'll watch them tonight then. There was an unreleased Chucky where you had to commit stealth kills in the game via Hitman. Was meant to be released on Xbox 360 and PS3. Oh. I can see where that would be a fun game. I think that's all I have for Chucky. Yeah, that's all I have for Chucky. Let me get going so that I can watch. I want to watch that Versus. I want to see what all the hubbub is about on that Versus. Friday show, I have not decided what the topic's going to be. I will not be live streaming tomorrow. I am going to take that time off, or should I do the opposite? Should I stream tomorrow and take Friday off? Because it's a holiday weekend. I got to decide what I'm going to do. Greetings, Richado Ruizo the God, who says Junior's father deserved it. Did I say your name right, Richado? Okay. Bob Gunter says good stream. Thank you. Much better than last week. Last week's stream, I had the worst off day and I just could not pull it together. It was embarrassing. That's why I relabeled the thumbnail. I think I named it a crap stream or something like that instead of live stream because it just was bad. I was embarrassed. I was like I almost wanted to give up on live streaming. Okay. Wait, this one. Richardo Ruizo says, yes, you did. Thanks. And don't forget to listen to The Weekend and do whatever. I'm good. Okay. Thank you. Like I said, not sure whether I'm going to stream tomorrow or Friday. If I stream tomorrow, I'm not going to stream on Friday. And if I don't stream tomorrow, I will stream on Friday. So we'll play by ear. We'll see how I feel. And I guess that's all for today. Thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate it. We had a good time today. I will see you later. Bye. Hey, 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 hey.